Hello, this is Horror Studio One, and this is my unedited podcast. Well, hello there. How's everyone doing today? How is everybody enjoying the holidays? It's not a holiday right now. Why did I just say that? I messed up. How is everyone enjoying life? Halloween's coming up, guys. You guys planning to do anything? Maybe go scare some people, go trick or treat some people, mostly treat. Has anyone ever tricked someone on Halloween? Like, I would love to see that actually happen one day. Like, just go and play a prank on somebody. Maybe I should do that for my Halloween special. No, I won't do that. So today, it's been a long time talking to you guys. It's been a very long time, and I've missed you guys so much. It feels like I'm talking to like a different entity when I'm recording podcasts, because when I'm doing normal videos, it feels like I'm in a world where nothing else exists. But when I'm doing podcasts, it feels like I'm actually talking to someone. Hence, I'm talking to my microphone, but I pretend my microphone is an actual little person and I talk to him. Anyways, today, the reason I wanted to share this story was, I found it pretty interesting. The reason was, so today's video is going to be about angels, and I'm going to share my own story about angels. I'm not sure if the story that I'm going to say or the experience that I had was true, was legit or not, but it really reminded me of it after reading a lot of other stories, because, the story goes that I was actually trying to find stories about angels online, and then I wanted to make a video about 3 true angel encounter stories or something like that. That's basically, I'm trying to do that. But for one, the reason it's kind of hard doing that is mainly because there's a lot of them that have to do with religion, and I'm not saying it's not authentic, but when religion comes into play, some of the things may be taken out of context, or maybe, the smallest thing may remind you of, oh, that must be a sign of something or something like that. Or, oh, it's sunny today. This must be a sign. I'm not saying all religious people are like that, but there's definitely that factor that I had to put into my videos as well. I didn't want it to be too much in someone's mind or full of superstition. I wanted something to actually happen that can prove that whatever you encountered was, a supernatural being or a paranormal event kind of thing. And that's why I wanted to make it more legitimate. I wanted to find more legit stories. So it took me a long time to find the stories. I'm still trying to find them right now, actually. But a lot of them reminded me of one experience that I had as a child. Not really as a child, but as a teenager, I guess. The reason it was so similar is because I always think back to that experience I had, and I never really counted it as a supernatural experience. Like, I've told all my ghost stories I've experienced in my whole life, on my channel, in my podcast. I've told you guys all about it. It's all out there. It's all for you guys, you know what I mean? But this experience, I've never told anyone, really. I've never told you guys. I've never really told my friends. I've told nobody about this experience because I never thought it was actually an experience that needed to be said. I never thought anything of it. But after reading so many stories about angels, I started to think back to this experience I had as a teenager or so. And I just wanted to share it with you guys, and maybe you guys can give your take on it in the comment section below, what you guys think about it. And then I'll share with you guys like a legit angel story or a very similar one. You guys can see why I kind of linked angel stories I found online and my own story, because it just has that factor to it. So I'll read you that after. And then maybe I'll talk a bit about some other stuff you guys are interested in. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So grab a blanket, turn off your lights. It's my slogan now, guys. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights, grab something. Grab a blanket. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, so the story I wanted to tell you guys is, so when I was around a teenager, I actually went to, there's this one time, because I live in Ontario in Canada, if you guys don't know that. I actually went to Montreal with actually just family and family friends and stuff like that, and I was about 16 or 16 or something like that. And we were on a tour bus, and we go out every the whole day, and at nighttime we got to the hotel. It was around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and we were like all super drained and super tired, so we would all just go back to our hotel rooms, take a shower, grab something to eat, grab a blanket, turn off your lights, and then go to sleep, kind of thing. And I actually had to room with my mother because we were going as a family and stuff. So I roomed with my mom, but then I finished taking my shower, and then I was like kind of like restless a bit. You know how when you're a teen, I'm still pretty restless, but when you're a teen, you're like, man, I just like, is there anything else to do? It's only like 9 p.m. or whatever, and all my other family friends were they were gonna go to sleep or whatever, like watch a movie. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that, right? I just didn't want to do that. So I was like, I'm just gonna walk around by myself or something. Maybe find something to eat. Maybe I don't know, talk to some people. Basically go around and do some shit kind of thing. So I went out my hotel, like we lived in the hotel, and it was like gorgeous hotel. It was like, like a tour, you do those tour plans, and then, they just give you like a 4-star hotel, and it's like, it's nothing creepy about it. Like it just looked like a legit hotel, right? And it had like yellow lights, it had really bright lights, it had like a carpet, it had, this big, it's got like a piano in like the middle section. I don't know what you call it, the lobby section, and then there's those grand lights at the top. It's like, they got stairs, they got elevators, they got like a fish tank. It's like a really legitly beautiful hotel kind of thing. And I was just, I'm just gonna walk around, maybe buy some food, and then maybe just go back to sleep afterwards kind of thing. So I'm walking around, I'm basically in my like my flip-flops and my like my shorts and my t-shirt, and I'm just walking around, and then I think I go down the elevator, because this was a long time ago, right? I'm not that old, but this was still a pretty long time. We're talking about 15, okay? So I go down the elevator. I'm pretty sure I got out. Let's say I lived on the 8th floor. I don't remember what floor I lived on. I took the elevator down to like the lobby area, and then I went out the elevator, and I walked out. And the moment I walked out, I saw someone there. I saw a man, and then I was like, oh, okay. But the only thing I found very peculiar about this man, and I still remember to this day, he was that peculiar, was because he was dressed in like the 18th century clothing. He was dressed like in black. I think he had a tie on. He definitely had a top hat. So he looked like he was like one of those guys from like the 18th century. He was obviously a white dude. And then he had like a beard. He was kind of like, I think it was like a ginger as well. I don't remember, but he was just like an older, like he looked like he was 35 to 40-year-old white guy. Dressed in like period time clothing or something, 18th century clothing. Like he looked like one of those guys that like drove the horse carriages, you know what I mean? And then that's what I thought he was. And he was just sitting there in a chair, and I turn the corner, and I see him, and then he looks at me. And the one thing that I always found it kind of weird was that in there, we weren't really at the lobby yet. It was like the section before the lobby where the piano was. You had to go down the stairs to the lobby. There was nobody. I could hear no sounds. And this was like 8 and 9 o'clock in a hotel. Like people would be checking in probably, right? Grabbing their luggage, going up to their rooms and shit. I couldn't see jack shit. I mean, I couldn't hear anything, really. There was nobody. I couldn't hear a single sound but me and this guy. It felt like the whole area, this whole dimension, this whole atmosphere was only me and him. And then I turned the corner, and then I just, I looked at him, and I did like a double take, because I was like, why is he dressed like that, right? And I found it kind of weird, like odd. But the whole thing wasn't creepy at all. Like I felt like I didn't see a ghost or anything like that. It was definitely like, it was like a normal vibe, like how you would see a normal person. And he was very nice. He looked at me and he smiled and said, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good," right? And I'm not saying that, not a lot of people say, "How are you?" But he just gave off this really pleasant presence, that was about him. He was just sitting there in a chair, and then I just turned around and I walked down the stairs. And then after a while, I'm like doing my thing, and then I think after about a couple of minutes, I just take like a small walk around the place, because I mean, you're by yourself. There's really nothing for you to do in a hotel like lobby, right? You take some pictures, you go to the water fountains. I remember there was like a fountain thing on the outside. Like you just take a look, you take a stroll. It's basically like just to take a stroll before you go to bed. I went back up the stairs, and the guy was completely gone, and I had not seen him leave the hotel. I mean, or anyone else that was dressed similar to him. So if you're saying that he may have been there for a play or something else, I mean, there was nobody like him, and he was just sitting there, like just as if he was waiting for me. to go downstairs to bump into him or something like that. I don't know what it was. I still remember it to this day. I mean, it wasn't, very dramatic. I've met millions and millions of people in my life, but this person I'll always remember, and I don't know why. Recently, I started reading those stories about angels, and a lot of the stories were very similar. Their experiences, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't crazy, but they had a feeling about them, right? I mean, you can think about two things. They're either angels or they're aliens, right? But because I guess I've been reading so much about angels, and the mood, the vibe that he gave out to me was so nice and so pleasant that I it was a generous soul kind of thing. So I think he might have been an angel. I can't confirm. This is the only experience I've had. Let's get to the story. I'm just going to read the story for you guys, and you guys can know why I felt that way after reading all these stories about angels. And the story is called My 25-Minute Angel. This story dates back about 11 years ago, but I'll never forget it. I was going through a rough time, and my mother and I had a falling out. I was only 15 at the time. I really wanted to stay with my father for personal reasons. However, my mother put me on a bus and told me she loved me and don't forget to pray. Upset and scared, praying was the last thing on my mind. I had a long way to go, from McAllen, Texas to Chicago. Scared? Yes, I was. Then while going back my bag to look for a change at one of the stops for a soda, I came across a letter my mom had wrote me. My mother had told me how she hoped I would stay close to God in my time of difficulty, and she prayed she could do more. Now, I assure you, this ordeal had nothing to do with my mother nor being a good parent, but just me trying to stay alive. I couldn't tell her that. So the last part of the letter, she had said, "Remember, don't forget to pray, and I love you no matter what." So I just felt a part near Houston, and I fell asleep praying for my mother not to feel bad because it was not her fault. Also, I was praying for help myself, even if it was a stranger being nice to me. So the heart of the story didn't last long, but will forever be with me. During a bus transfer in Little Rock, Arkansas, new passengers started to board. Most people just sat in empty spots, which were not very abundant, and others asked and got turned away. People can be so mean. Anyways, my guy got turned away by someone who had an open seat by him, and I raised my hand and said, "I'm open." Thank God I did. Now, when he sat, he had the glowing eyes I've only seen on a cat. He was so nice, I thought right away he was not of this world. Not literally, but just different. The way he talked, his mannerisms, then we started talking, or he did rather, and we talked about everything. The weird thing is he touched on every single feeling I was going through at the time. He was great. He made me feel better about myself at the time, and he told me stories which you would not believe. He also knew things about me that I could not explain, like my troubles, my thoughts about my parents, and even what would come to pass, which it's been 11 years and they've all added up. The sad thing, I didn't know he jumped off. I didn't know he jumped on the plane for only 25 minutes. I felt like we had a lifelong conversation in those 25 minutes. He taught me a lot, and his last words to me were, "Everything will work out. Don't forget to pray and live the life God gave you to the fullest. You just never know who you will meet. God bless." So this was the story. Not bad. Well written. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, this is not the only one I'm talking about. There's a bunch of them that just reminded me of that story of myself. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sick. If I pray tonight, will I stop being sick? God. Anyways, basically that's it. And it reminded me of that story. Of course, the guy didn't talk to me about my life and knew every single detail. Like, you are bored right now. You're from Toronto, and you want a Snickers bar real bad. Like no, he didn't do that, but it's just that it truly did remind me of that story. The presence, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The presence is what reminded me of that story in my past. So yeah. So this is gonna be a quick one today. It's not really quick, okay, but it's been a long time since I've done an Undead podcast. I do a lot of live streams lately. Next week, on next Friday, I'm gonna do the live stream. It's gonna be at 8. You guys know I have a schedule up at 1 o'clock. 1 p.m. is where I upload videos Monday till Thursday, and then Saturday as well is 1 Or Saturday, I do it a bit earlier. But anyways, it's during noon time. It's definitely Monday to Thursdays. Definitely. Like I make sure I'm on time. And then Friday, if I'm doing live stream, it's 8 o'clock. If I'm doing podcast or something else on a Friday, it might be a bit earlier than 8. It's always going to be early. It's never going to be late, basically. So you guys can stay tuned and keep up with my channel. I may be doing something crazy. Maybe I'll show my face. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Just put in the comments what you guys think of my story and how much you love me. Thank you. Bye. Bye.